So this is something that many people don't actually realize, that God gives and God takes. Everything that you have in your life is because it was given to you. And everything that you don't have in your life is because it was not given to you. And this is a deep truth that it takes a while for us to realize it, because even people who are into religion will tell you, oh, God is the one who gives, God is the one who takes. But if we go really deeper and see, are you actually acting from that place, are you actually acting from that realization, you will see that people are still trying to control things and they're still taking credit for the things in their life. So you may think that, let's say, you're very good at something, but you are very good at something only because it was given to you to be that good at this thing. It's not because of your personal efforts. And even though it seems like you're putting effort into something, let's say, and then it works out or you become great at it, it's still, where did you get that inner strength to be consistent? Where did you get that inspiration? Where did you get the idea? Where did you get the ability to not give up? You see, all these things, they're just given to you. And also, if you feel like something is lacking in your life, like you want something but you don't have it, then that's also something that you have to realize that God is withholding from you. And there is always a divine reason for everything. And this is not just to sound poetic, it's not just to give you some hope that it's not based on anything. This is actually the truth. Everything that you're lacking, there is some higher reason for that. And everything that you have, there is also a higher reason for you to have it. And for the most part, these things do not only include you as the human person that you are, the persona, but it's for the greater good for everything and everyone. And this is so hard to accept because we want to believe that we have a lot of influence on things in life, but that's far from reality. And if you're someone who thinks deeply and you actually observe your life carefully as a scientist, you will see that all the things that happen, they just happen. All the ideas that you have, they just come out of nowhere. All the inspiration that you have comes out of nowhere, basically. It comes from somewhere, but it seems like it comes from nowhere. And this is something that we must realize deeply. And the way we realize it is by observing life simply. Just see that everything that you're doing, you're not really choosing to do it. It seems like you're choosing, but why do you want to make that choice specifically? Why not choose the other thing? There is no rational explanation for this. Only spirituality can give you that understanding, and not spirituality that you can read somewhere, although this may help, of course. I mean, I read and I watch videos and stuff. It definitely helps, but real, true realization can only come through direct experience. So, what I'm sharing here with you is something that I've experienced directly. It's not just something that I've read. Yes, I've heard it. I've watched videos about it, sure. But it took me a while until I actually had a direct experience with it, realizing that God gives and God takes, and there is nothing beyond God. You may call God the divine if you don't feel comfortable with the word God. You may call it the universe. You may call it divine intelligence. Whatever name you want to use, it's that source of everything. It's that divine intelligence that it gives you everything and it takes from you everything that you're lacking. And where does then responsibility come into the picture? Well, if we're talking on a practical level, we need to be responsible for the things that the divine has given us. Even if it's just a little, we need to be responsible about that. But then, if you go deeper, you realize that responsibility um, strengthens the sense of control. That's the issue here with responsibility. Because when you say, I am responsible for this thing, it means that you somehow have a control over it, which is not the truth. On a practical level, it seems like you have control over your life. It seems like you're doing things or you're being responsible about something. Let's say you're not wasting your money or your resources, and you're being reasonable with things. But if you look deeper, where does that desire to be responsible and reasonable about things actually come from? It's not something that you have created. You have that desire. So you see, all the things that we experience in this life are not really things that are coming from ourselves as this ego, as this persona that we're playing in everyday life. This persona, like my name is Stefan, and I do this and this and this in life. This persona, this role that I'm playing, is not responsible and has no influence over the unfolding of life. It's the divine that works through the persona to do all the things. It's the divine that gives the wisdom or the intelligence that I can share here. It's not really my wisdom or my intelligence as me, this role that I'm playing in this life. That's not where these things come from. They just flow and I channel them. So everything that you have, don't take so much credit for it. Realize that it has been given to you and be grateful about them. That's the best thing we can do. Just be grateful for what we have and realize that the things that we don't have, we don't really need, at least not right now. You may have them later in life. We don't know how your destiny will unfold. But if you don't get them ever, this means that you didn't need them. And if you do get them somewhere along the path, the things that you want, then it means that you were meant to have them from the get-go. It's just that time has to play out, destiny has to play out, and you have to, as this person that you're playing, you have to be ready to receive and be at the stage of evolution. So there are all these things included in this three-dimensional reality that need to happen, that need to adjust, so that then this thing happens, whatever this thing may be it finding your soulmate, um, working something that you love, or having the skill to create what you want to create. Whatever it is, you want something but you don't have it. It means it's not time to have it and you don't need it right now. if you would really need it, then the divine would give it to you. And that's hard to accept because we have desires. We want certain things and we avoid other things. And it's really hard to accept that the things that we lack right now in our life, we are meant to be lacking them. That's really hard to accept. That's harsh truth. But it doesn't become such a harsh truth once you realize, and I mean really realize, that you are exactly where you need to be in your life right now. There are no mistakes in this show called life. There are no accidents. There are no coincidences. Everything happens in divine order, in divine timing. And the thing is, we think that, oh, if I don't believe in divine timing, if I don't believe in destiny, if I don't believe in God, then it means it's not true. But the divine does not care whether you believe it or not. It does not care about do you believe in divine timing or you don't. Whatever is real, and it does not need our belief in it. It's still real. It's just that we choose to ignore it. And this is where ignorance comes from. And we are able actually to see a lot of truths, a lot of deep insights about this reality and ourselves and the divine. It's just that sometimes the ego cannot accept the truth because the truth will dissolve the ego, and the ego does not want that. Which the ego is basically your sense of individuality. That's, we could call it the ego. You think you're this person. That's the ego. So that if you were really able to see 100% the truth, then the ego will disappear. Because if you're not doing anything as an ego, if the divine is doing everything through you and as you, then why do we need ego? And that's why the ego resists truth. That's why when we hear something, we may not like it, even though it's true. But as Jesus Christ has said, once you hear the truth, you will recognize the truth, and the truth will set you free. So the truth really sets you free, and it's very freeing to realize that you are not guilty for the things that happen in your life. You may have been through a lot of things in life and you're not really 100% responsible. You're on the deepest level, you're not even 1% responsible for everything that's happening in your life. And even on a more practical level, you're still not responsible for what happens. You're responsible for how you respond, for what you do with the situation that life throws at you. That's what you're responsible about on a practical level. But on a more deeper level, you're not responsible for anything. And everything happens the way it should happen, the way it's meant to happen. And I'm not trying to give you false hope. Realize this. I'm just stating the truth as I have realized it. And does this mean that when you deeply understand that the divine is the doer of everything, does it mean that you sit all day and do nothing? You can't, even if you tried, because the life force within you will not leave you alone. It will make you do something. It will make you stand up and do something. And if you don't, it will just tear you apart inside. So that's what happens? The life force wants to express itself, and you just have to get out the way. And even getting out of the way is not something that you can do, because when you see like your life force is guiding you to do something, but you're getting in the way, your mind is getting in the way, it twists everything. And you may want to get out of your own way, but you cannot. You try and you try and you cannot. Yeah, that's because that's your experience right now. And this will also pass. You will eventually get out of your own way. If you are in your own way right now, you will get out of your own way. And you see that even getting out of your own way was not something that you did. It did itself. Everything in life does itself. That's the thing. Everything does itself. And there is nothing that we as the egos are actually doing something. So remember that the next time you make a so-called mistake, the next time you feel shame or guilt about something you've done in your past, remember this when you're anxious about your future. Remember this when you're dissatisfied with your present life. Always remember that God gives and God takes. And there is nothing beyond that. It's the divine that gives and it's the divine that takes. And whatever you have, do your best to be grateful about it. Do your best. I know that's sometimes very hard, because if you're finding yourself in hell, so to say, if you're going through fire in your life, it's very, very hard to be grateful. And you may think that God has forsaken you. You may think that the divine doesn't care about you. But that's not what this fire is all about. This fire that you're going through is about transformation and dissolution of the ego. Now, the ego cannot be dissolved completely, not while you're in this 3D reality, but it can get to a place where you remember the truth. And although there is ego playing, you realize that the ego is kind of it's just when there is a light, there is also a shadow. So you can say that the divine is the light that creates everything, and the ego is just the shadow reflection of that divine. So everything is an expression of the divine intelligence. And if you're deep into these things, as I am, you probably have heard this many, many times before. But hearing something or knowing it on an intellectual level and actually realizing it by direct experience, these are two separate things. And you cannot make yourself have that direct experience. Whatever experience you have in your life right here, right now, that's the exact experience that you need. And that's hard to accept. That's hard to accept because we have all these desires, we have all these fears, we may have an anxiety, we may have depression, all these things. And it's hard to accept that we have no control over things. Not when we talk about truth. So, yes, still be practical about it. If you can do something about the situation, definitely do it. Definitely do everything you can to improve your life situation if you don't like it. Definitely try your best in everything that you're doing, but also remember that the strength that you have to keep moving, the ideas that you have, the intelligence that you have between your ears. It's not something that you manufactured or created yourself. It's something that it was given to you. And because it was given to you, you don't really own it. So be grateful for everything that you have inside of you and allow it to express the way it wants to express. This could be through having a creative endeavor. It could be through starting a business. It could be through having a YouTube channel. It could be through writing a book, making music, making art, whatever you feel that you want to express from within. That's what you need to express. So, yes, God gives and God takes, but there is a play of us being part of that. There is a play of us managing our lives. But remember, that's the thing. Just remember, you don't have to do anything else. Just remember and catch yourself. When you get too anxious about the future or you start regretting things you have done in your past, or you feel like something is missing in your life, or you are not satisfied with your life, do your best, sure, but also remember that there is only so much you can do. Whatever was not given to you, you cannot make God give it to you. You cannot persuade God to give you something that He hasn't decided to give you. And God has no gender, it's not he or she, but for the purposes of talking in a simple way, we're going to call God he. But God will not give you something that he doesn't see as something that you need. And in your own deeper essence, you are that divine intelligence. So it's you helping yourself. And once you realize this, you can actually relax a little. You can start enjoying life more and not be so obsessed over the future or the past. And it's not a technique that you do. It's not, I will now be present and I will stop thinking about the future and the past. It's a shift that happens once the timing is right. It's a shift because of the realization that everything is moved and driven and controlled and created by that divine intelligence. And there is nothing you can do to change creation. So the trap here is that if you understand it intellectually, what I'm sharing here, you will stop making effort. You will stop doing your best. But then you realize that this doesn't work also. So it's kind of remembering the truth, but also playing the game. Remembering that you're not the one who is playing, but you still need to participate as though you are the one who is playing. And that realization comes with time and direct experience, and these are something that you also don't have control over. So whatever it is that is happening in your life, that's the divine working. There is a saying, God either is or he isn't, which means everything is God or nothing is God. When you're experiencing something difficult in your life, you're going through hell, you may think that this is not from God, but this is from God. And you also may think that when you're experiencing something good, it's from God. But when you're not, then it's not from God. So this is where that saying comes, is that God either is or he isn't. So either everything is God's doing or nothing is God's doing. So what's the point of these videos if we have not so much control about anything? It's to clear programming. It's to, because the entire world that we live in strengthens that identity of I am the one who does things. I am the one who manifests. I am the one who achieves. I can do this. I can do this. I cannot do that. And we want to not be so identified with that part of ourselves, which is just that persona that we're playing in this current lifetime. The more you can realize that you're not really that, this is just the play of life, it's not that you stop being yourself. No, you become yourself even more, because now you're not in the way. You're allowing whatever it is to be the way it is. You're allowing whatever wants to be expressed. And you remember the deeper truth, which is that God is responsible for everything. And you also remember that you are exactly where you're meant to be, and you can never get off track. Even when it seems like you're getting off track, you're still on track. That's still part of the play. That's still part of your journey in this lifetime. So the best thing we can do on a practical level is to become an alchemist. To learn to take what life presents you, be it either good or bad, and transform it into something positive. Life throws you a curveball, a difficulty, a hardship. You take it and you use it as a stepping stone to your evolution. And that's the best thing we can do on a practical level, while also not stressing ourselves so much about it, because we're not in control anyway. And whatever is destined to happen will happen, and you cannot stop it from happening. So remember that, and just don't get obsessed with this persona. Allow the play of life to be, and just remain centered. Remain centered and act from that inner place. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope that this video was insightful. I have a clothing brand. If you like, you can check that out. It's called Jackal Studio X. Link is down in the description. You may like something there. Other than that, like this video and subscribe to the channel. These things really help. It helps the channel grow. It helps me spread my message. So you're also doing a good thing here. And yeah, let me know something in the comments down below. Are you experiencing this truth that I'm sharing here? Have you already experienced it, even if it's for a slight glimpse of a moment? Or does this just sound some airy fairy thing to you? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know your experience. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.